This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 12 killed in 24 hours as the state of emergency buckle. A 16-year-old girl who was slain in bizarre circumstances at her home was among 12 persons killed over 24 hours on the weekend in a psychological blow to the state of emergency imposed 9 days ago to rein in runaway murders. 5 of the dozen murders occurred in 3 of the 7 police divisions in which the security measure was activated amid killings that are 10% higher year on year. Among the deceased were 2 unidentified men in St. Mary, but the death of Sarika Picard at her Lincoln Road home in East Kingston stands out for the sheer shock and the scale of domestic violence, which was followed by a run-and-gun battle in which 2 policemen and a bystander were shot and injured. The Convent of Mercy high schooler was playing Ludi with her best friend when it was alleged that her granduncle approached her and shot her several times, hitting her in the head, left arm, and upper body. 46-year-old Glenford Henry is wanted by the police in connection with the crime. Residents' accounts of strange behavior by Henry are expected to revive concern about the country's capacity to identify threat and isolate the mentally ill with a penchant for dangerous behavior before such explosive situations occur. Several persons have been allegedly killed or injured by the mentally ill this year. According to reports, less than 5 minutes after carrying out his attack, Henry allegedly attempted to escape on foot when he was challenged by members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. A firefight ensued in the vicinity of Camperdown Road. Deputy Superintendent Delia Garrick of the Police Information Arm confirmed the security forces were attacked. They came under gunfire from him in his bid to escape, and during that shooting 2 policemen were injured and another person that was passing, Garrick said. Henry, who is also from Kingston 16, is still on the run. No motive has been established for the murder. The loss of his first child has come as a shock to Sarika's father. Adding to his heartbreak is that he was unaware that Henry was staying at the premises where Sarika reportedly lived with her mom. "I am devastated. I am just trying to put the pieces together to see what could have really caused this. I don't even know how to describe this situation," said the father, who requested that his name not be published. The incident occurred about 5:50 p.m. on Saturday. One resident who spoke on condition of anonymity said that Henry was deported months ago and has since been living with his niece. That account could not be verified by the police up to press time. The resident added that Henry often demonstrated bizarre behavior and kept to himself. "The uncle go on like him a madman. Every night that man a burn cigarette and drink raw rum. Him not really deal with nobody on the ends. Him just stay to himself and depend him phone right through," the resident disclosed. Sarika's passing has come as a shock to the community, with the resident describing the teenager as mild-mannered. He said she was a nice little girl. "She cool and humble. She no give trouble. She play a little netball and play a little Ludi on the veranda outside. She ever tell people morning, evening and night," he told the news. After 60-year wait, Salt River rejoices over piped water. Clement Lewis has been living in Salt River for more than 60 years and never thought the day would come when he could enjoy a shower in his bathroom. On Saturday, he rejoiced at the experience as water gushed from his pipe. Lewis generally spends only weekends at his home because of the water supply inconvenience, but is now planning to take him time move back to the southeast Clarendon community. Underinvestment in water supply infrastructure is widespread throughout Jamaica, especially in rural communities like Salt River. "It is one of the factors fueling urban drift," said Lewis, explaining that many persons migrated from Salt River in the hunt for better amenities. Majority of people overseas from Salt River, one of their major problems why they don't want to come back and to stay here is because of the water problem. "Now, if you look on my Facebook page, everybody is happy now that water is in Salt River," he said. He thanked political representatives who started the first few steps on what has been a long journey, among them Mapen Mayor Winston Maraj and his division councillor Cian Barneswell. Sheila Walters-Patent, who was the lone crusader in the community cussing and complaining while mounting a placard at her gate about the lack of piped water, was overjoyed on Saturday. She recalls the spewing rage at Clarendon Southeast Member of Parliament Pernell Charles Jr. during a political campaign tour of the area. "Mr. Charles come and beg me say me fi come out go vote. And the way how me angry the day, me tell him say me not coming out until me see water," said Walters-Patent. Now that her wish has been granted, and after enjoying a long shower until her legs were white, she shared her gratitude with Charles on Saturday, pledging that when the next time election comes around, she will be emblazoned in green from head to foot bottom. Green is the color of the ruling Jamaica Labour Party, with which Charles is affiliated. Charles and members of his team were specifically invited by the residents on Saturday to express their gratitude. Charles, who first won the Southeast seat in a by-election before ramping home in the September 2020 general election, said the waterworks were a two-phased project. The first phase included the erection of standpipe in 2020 to give residents immediate access to water. Although it was described, he said, by critics as a retrograde step, the Clarendon Southeast MP said he focused on how happy it made those who were beneficiaries. Phase 2 was to get the water from the pipes to the homes, and today we can say that it has been completed, and it is a team effort, and we are grateful for it. Everybody now is saying, "Shower, shower. Thank you for the showers," he said, referencing a slogan associated with the JLP. Charles pledged that more infrastructural works will get underway to ensure that Salt River can become a source of economic power and tourism for domestic and foreign investors. Infirmaries may soon open to welcome 300 on waiting list, said Mackenzie. Local Government Minister Desmond Mackenzie has announced that with some 300 Jamaicans seeking a place in the country's infirmaries, those facilities may soon open their doors to welcome new arrivals of homeless residents if the current COVID-19 numbers stabilize over time. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has indicated that proposals for the reopening of infirmaries to new residents was under review, Mackenzie told congregants during Sunday's National Annual Church Service held in celebration of local government and community month at the Abundant Life Ministries headquarters in Green Park, Trelawney. "We have been working closely with the Ministry of Health, and we are hoping that if the numbers of COVID-19 cases remain steady and if conditions improve, we will be able to open the doors of our infirmaries right across the country to accept persons," the local government minister said. Mackenzie praised the government's work since 2016 in providing social facilities and upgrading conditions across our infirmaries for residential comfort. Concerns about the risk of COVID-19 spread in infirmaries and the nursing homes have arisen because of the high ratio of elderly residents who are among the most vulnerable to the novel coronavirus. COVID-19 clusters have emerged at the Golden Age Home in Vineyard Town and at least one facility operated by the Missionaries of the Poor. Last year, May, when an employee of the St. Anne Infirmary contracted the disease, 21 of the workers' close contacts were quarantined. 5 months later, 2 nursing homes in Hanover and Manchester were ordered closed due to breaches of COVID-19 protocols. At that time, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton revealed that of the 236 nursing homes and other residential facilities which were inspected, only 48.8% were compliant with COVID-19 protocols. Mackenzie also took time during Sunday's church service to praise the efforts of infirmary workers who have soldiered on despite the stresses and the risk of the pandemic. "I want to take this opportunity to congratulate the workers in our infirmaries and to say that your efforts have made our country, Jamaica, one of the best countries in the world because our infirmaries have not suffered a significant fallout because of COVID," said Mackenzie. In his address during the service, Falmouth Mayor Colin Gager urged Jamaicans to stay steadfast despite the setbacks that the country has suffered due to COVID-19, which has resulted in 90,705 infections and 2,358 deaths as at Saturday, November 20. COVID-19 has dealt us a very hard blow, but as a nation we must be resolute. We can overcome and we must overcome, but we can only do it together, said Gager. The Great Resignation trend has spread to Jamaica. The Labor and the Social Security Ministry has put stakeholders on notice that a global phenomenon dubbed the Great Resignation appears to have spread to Jamaica and could have a potential negative impact on the island's labor market. The Great Resignation is described as a trend where people are exiting the labor force in droves and employers are now struggling to fill the resultant job openings. In the United States, for example, a record of 4.3 million workers quit their jobs in August this year, according to new data from the Labor Department, U.S. media reports said. Many of the resignations took place in the retail and hospitality sectors, with employees opting out of generally difficult low-wage jobs. Employees there are demanding higher wages, better working conditions, more mobility, among other things, from their employers. Locally, Chief Technical Director in charge of productivity at the Ministry of Labor and Social Security, Tamara Nelson, said attention must be paid to the phenomenon as the trend has been seen in Jamaica. She made the statement at last week's sitting of Parliament's Economy and Production Committee. Globally, workers' attitude towards employers have changed and is now dubbed the Great Resignation of employees, and there are trends right across the world where persons are leaving work, sometimes not to another job, but just for a change, having gone through the pandemic and been through different working conditions, she said. Nelson added that some senior executives of entities globally were also leaving their jobs. Continuing, Nelson said, "So there is a huge skill gap or talent deficit that is seen worldwide, and it is also dubbed the Great Attrition. We are also seeing that trend here in Jamaica, and we need to pay very close attention to that," she declared. And according to Divisional Director of Industrial Relations and Allied Services in the Labor and the Security Ministry, Gillian Corodas, it appears that some Jamaicans were willing to venture into doing their own businesses rather than be employees in the island. She said these persons were engaged in businesses both locally and internationally. This global trend in terms of the Great Resignation is something that Jamaicans need to be mindful of, especially since I have come into information from the Companies Office of Jamaica that suggests that it processed 3,000 new company applications and over 12,000 business name registrations in 2020 to 2021, representing a record number of new business activity in Jamaica, she stated. This shift from employee to self-employed or own account worker is noteworthy in terms of the labor market in Jamaica, added Nelson. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.